Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am excited to be back with a tutorial video for you today. Now, it is about the highly recommended and highly requested video about AislePlanner. So AislePlanner, if you don't know, if you're a wedding planner, I'm sure you've heard of it before. It is basically a dashboard planning system for clients and planners. And it is a thing that we've been using for a very long time. There's nothing quite as complete as it. It still has its faults, but we have found some really, really great ways to work with it. And I'm here to show you today how to do that. So I am focusing today's video on how to create and use AislePlanner templates. And it is a step one in many steps and future videos that I'll create for you guys because it can be a beast. AislePlanner is just so full and so complete that it can be really overwhelming for both planners to kind of customize it for their clients, and clients kind of feel overwhelmed with the basic checklist that they give you. So today I'm showing you how to create some of your basic templates for things that you tend to share a lot, like a packing list or your tip guide, or things that just clients ask you about a lot. And we're going to turn them into templates, and we're going to show you how to incorporate them into your new projects moving forward. So stick around. I'm excited to dive in, and I'm sharing my screen with you today. So I really want to show you how to do this properly. Okay, let's start with a new project. So I'm going to do, in this case, a wedding, since that's what we kind of do the most of. We will create project. Now here we've created a few style templates for the actual type of project already. So we have actually some specific ones to locations like Los Angeles, Maine, our month of wedding clients, Nashville location, and then some of our under canvas locations because they are all very unique. And one of the templates that I eventually like to add to my dashboard is a vendor recommendation, like our preferred list of vendors. So I like having these templates already set up by location so that I can recommend vendors in Los Angeles or vendors in Nashville. And then this one would be for our month of wedding clients or wedding management clients, where we don't necessarily show them the budget tool, the website portion. I mean, there's some things that we don't necessarily give them access to because they haven't paid for that portion. So these are kind of our more full service planning ones. And then we also have customized templates for our month of. So let's say let's do Maine. So let's click our Maine template. Let's type in, let's call her Abby B and Bobby C. Very unique. Okay, our event date, we'll just kind of put something in the future. Guest count, let's call it 100. And then I'm not going to go into the budget portion on this video. I will save that for a future video. They're going to get married in Portland, Maine, time zone, Eastern. Okay, so this is where my month of clients, I would have unchecked stuff like the budget tool, the design tool, and probably the website. But in this case, it is a full service client, so we are giving them access to everything. Let's create our project. Okay, so we are in our dashboard right now, and what I kind of want to go over specifically today is how to kind of create this and use as many templates as possible so you're not reinventing the wheel every time you onboard a new client. So we are not going to go through all of these tabs today. I am going to specifically show you how to make some templates that can be used every time you create a new project. Now, for example, I'm going to show you kind of the end result, and then we'll work backwards on creating the templates. So in our case, when we have a new client, I usually start in the notes section, and I want to add notes from templates. So we've created all of these templated notes, and I can go in and select what I think is going to be the most helpful for this type of client or this type of project, or even the level of service they've hired us for. So in this case, This client is going to get our adventure guide, which I can explain to you in a little bit. So it's preloaded, and really it is kind of a snapshot that we've created for our couples, and we will plug in this information before we release it to them. And it has kind of our planning timeline, when we're going to have budget meetings, when we're going to present venue options, and when they need to make a decision. So we go through all of these vendors, when it's going to be presented by us and when it's going to be booked by them. And honestly, this has worked really well for our clients, because a full service client can be anywhere from, well, some are condensed in 8 months, when some of them are over a year or a year and a half. And I want to make sure everybody's held accountable. So we are held accountable for our deadlines, and they are held accountable for making decisions. So I will go in and basically plug that in before I release this to the client. But for now, we will add that. We will also add communication. This is a really important one. It shares kind of what our best way to communicate is. So we put scheduled calls, and this is the link to my Calendly. Please no texting unless it's on the wedding day. So we really just want to set expectations here and make sure that they truly understand. We're saying it up front. It's also in our contract. And so if we ever have to say, hey, just a reminder, please go visit the communication note in AislePlanner, all the information is there, and there's no kind of gray area about it. Now, it's going to preload the title of this. It's called communication. You can also select into what category this note is going to be. I just kind of keep it open to whatever. I think it's going to be uncategorized essentially. And then you can set restrictions. So if you wanted to just make it visible for you and your team, for example, if you had an initial inquiry call with this couple and you're like, hey, I wrote some rough notes about what goes into this, is going into this wedding, and some notes about family dynamic or preferences or whatnot, you can just make that visible to your team. So I really like this tool, and it's been super helpful. Okay, we're gonna press done on that. And then let's do also, obviously I'm gonna add a ton of these for this client, this fake client. Obviously I'm not gonna add things to do in the Smoky Mountains. That is specific to our Smoky Mountain location anytime clients book out there, which we do get often. So we have created a location-based note for this, for those types of clients. But in this case, I'm also gonna do a packing list. And the packing list can be filled out by us since we are doing full service for Abby and Bobby. This is something that we will most likely fill out ourselves. We talk about general decorations. We talk about photo stuff. So we have kind of some basic things that we would like for them to bring. Any type of gifts, games, activities for kids or anything like that, bar items, dessert table. So it is preloaded with items that we tend to bring a lot, right? And instead of reinventing the wheel each time, we've found that designing this ahead of time and saving it as a template that we can reload into all of these wedding dashboards has been super, super helpful. So for the packing list, I'm gonna go put it under wedding planner. This is kind of more for me, but I do want the clients to see it, so I'm not gonna put any restrictions on it. Okay, so see now these two are uncategorized, so they're going to show up at the top, and as I scroll down, the wedding planner category is going to show the note that I just had. So let's work backwards and actually let's create a packing list template for your AislePlanner dashboard, okay? So right now, eventually, by the way, guys, when you have fully loaded this, you will then release notes. So you can keep this, in a draft format or invisible to your client until you're ready to give them their full access to their dashboard, and then you'll go ahead and you'll release your notes. So don't be afraid, once you add it in here, you can still go in and customize it. And in fact, even when it's released to the client, you can always go in and customize it. Okay, so let's work backwards and let's go to our settings. And then, so it's just this little wheel in the corner, and then you'll see that it says templates. This was a game changer for us. It is something that it took us way too long to find out it existed. But now that we know it's here, it is an absolute game changer. So the first one is project templates. Now, project templates was the one at the very beginning when we were creating a new project on AislePlanner and we selected wedding. This is where I selected Maine, right? So in this case, it means that we've customized some things in the template as a whole, that every time we load the main one, it is custom to our main location. So whether that was a preferred vendor list or probably our checklist has been customized to match a main location thing, whatever that is, you can create as many as you want here. I really like to break it down into two types of projects. So one of it is maybe a location-based project. So Los Angeles, Maine, Nashville, places where you know, it could be a state, it could be a country, where you know that you're like, oh, I need to make sure that anytime I do weddings in Croatia, that we get our marriage license 90 days before the wedding. I'm just making that up. But if you're someone who especially does destination weddings and you know certain countries have specific rules or regulations or requirements, then you can go ahead and preload those in a template, and that's just going to really help you get organized and not forget some things as you're moving forward through your planning. Now, the other thing, the other way, I guess, I would create a project template is by type of project. Not type of project, but type of service that they've hired you for. In one case, it could be your full service planning clients like we do. For others, it might be partial planning if you offer that, or it could be wedding management. And at first, when we actually had AislePlanner, we did not give access to our wedding management clients, but now that we do, it has helped us stay way more organized instead of bouncing between our full service clients being all their information in AislePlanner, whereas wedding management was all via email and Google Drive. So now that we've upgraded our AislePlanner package to kind of allow us to house more projects in it, we've decided to start adding our wedding management people in there, and it's just really helped everybody stay organized in one location. So I'd highly recommend doing that. But if you're just getting started and you're doing the free version and you're just doing one project at a time, then still go ahead and create yourself a template for either some locations or even full planning checklist or full planning template, month of template, whatever packages that you offer. So let's pretend we are adding a new wedding template here, and this is where you would start calling it, let's say, we'll go partial planning like this, and we'll say this template is for all of our partial planning clients. This is also considered design and coordination. So it just kind of reminds our team, if they're like, okay, wait a minute, which one is this for? Who can this go to? Here's a little description. Okay, now this is really cool because in creating this template, the biggest thing you can do is customize your checklist. And I'm not going to go deep into this, but one of the most overwhelming things about AislePlanner is that it gives you this massive checklist. It is overwhelming for wedding planners, it is overwhelming for couples, and it is so time consuming. I mean, look, we're going and going and going. It is so time consuming to go in every single new client project to go in and customize this. So take the time once and go in and delete anything that you feel is not serving you or your clients. Like, okay, I don't need to stay tuned for new features from AislePlanner. Like, I'm sorry, but goodbye. So go in and see what is it that's like an obvious thing or something that you can combine into one simple task. For example, create a preliminary color palette. I would say, since this is a partial planning checklist, I, the planner, am going to go in and do this for them, and I'm going to call it create mood board, right? And within the mood board, I know I'm going to design I'm going to select the color palette. I'm going to show them floral inspirations. I'm going to show them style guides. I'm going to show them. So there's a lot of this kind of stuff that can be put into one category. Now let's be clear, this is going to be time consuming. This is going to take you time, put it on your calendar, go in category by category and start editing this full checklist to reflect what your partial planning checklist would be. And then the last tip, because I do want to spend maybe a whole other video on the checklist, when you click on a line item, did you know you can go in and pre-assign this to somebody? So I will sometimes do pre-assignment. This will be something the planner will do, or this will be something the client will do. In this case, the preliminary color palette would be the planner. And then you can also write some tools in here. And now remember, this is not getting assigned to one specific client. This is getting assigned, this is creating the partial planning template. So we are now creating the overall general checklist that will go into the partial planning template. So don't get so specific, but specific enough that you're like, okay, yeah, 12 months out is great. If you need to set any specific due dates or reminders, you can definitely click in there when you're there. Okay, so this would be customizing the checklist, and then you can go in and customize the budget. So this is obviously the AislePlanner's recommendation. You can go in and honestly, like I take out mani-pedi in stuff like this. Typically, our clients do not count that in their wedding budget. In fact, a lot of people don't count the rings. You could go in and remove that. So you can go and really customize, adjust the percentages, however you see fit, right? So that is a really cool place to get started, especially with partial. The other thing I would say in our case, partial planning includes design and coordination. I, as the planner, am not in charge of catering. I am not managing the budget for catering. I am not finding the catering vendor. Same with photography, video. I am doing design and coordination. So I'm doing rentals, florals, decor, that kind of stuff. So I would maybe make a note next to some of these and say client responsible, or when it comes to florals, I would say floral or rentals and decor, planner responsible. I will clarify that I'm not responsible for them going over budget. I am responsible for managing more or less that portion of the budget and offering up recommendations. So there you go. That's kind of that. Advanced settings, you can go in here and kind of uncheck after the wedding. I mean, you can have it there if you want. It's a category in the checklist, or you can remove it. The engagement party is one that I do not do at all. We just remove that altogether, right? So you can go in and really kind of like registry, meh. I don't really manage that, but I will maybe make them a templated note in my notes section with ideas on where to get, or where to shop online, how to register for a registry, kind of more so like that. Okay, so that's kind of part one of the template. The second part is, all of these options can be templated. So you can create a wedding timeline template, which is really cool. We haven't even played with this yet. I don't even think this is anything, to be honest. But you can add a wedding template or another event template. And that could just be something like, you could put tentative times in there, and at least it has your flow. You're going to be doing, you could have one that's like with a first look, without a first look, right? And then approximately the times that you need in your overall schedule. So when you're reaching out to your photographer, say, hey, I tentatively, we have a 4 p.m. ceremony. I tentatively have you do the first look at 1 or 2 or whatever that is. Does that work for you? No? Okay, let's change things around. But at least you have a starting point. And you guys, it's all about working smarter, not harder. And we are still building this out ourselves, but I thought this was a really cool feature that we are going to work on next. And then I'm not going to go through all of these, and I'm sure I could do another video on all, but the last one I want to touch on is notes. This is one that we use the most that I showed you guys before. So you can go in and create a new note. And in this case, actually, I'm going to start my registry one because I do have some really good resources that I want to share with my clients about registry and wedding planners. This is an amazing place to add in affiliate links. If you're an affiliate for Zola or The Knot or whatever registry place, we were approached by one recently called Birdie, something Birdie. And I signed up as an affiliate, and I'm like, you know what? I share content with my clients. This is a brand that I have watched a tutorial for. I trust them. They've been super responsive over email. I'm going to go ahead and add my link in there. So what I would do is I would probably just write, best practices type of thing. Best practices for wedding registries. And then I would, bullet point it out, or you can actually use the bullet point feature, blah, 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 blah. And then I would say recommended registries. And then you could do like, certain stores like Target, blah, 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 Crate and Barrel. And then I would do this new affiliate link that I have. So I would do something like money registry. I don't know if that's how it's called, but like basically where people can just send you money, but it goes towards something that you want to do, like your honeymoon, or help us pay for our DJ, help us pay for our band, or something like that. And then I would highlight it. I would insert the link, and here's where I would insert my affiliate link. So how cool is that? And then I would save and close when I'm done. And now I've added myself a brand new template. So anytime I go back into my projects, I am able to and it can be anytime, even if I've already created the template. So if we just kind of check really quick, let's go back to our home page. We've got Abby and Bobby's wedding. Let's go to our notes and let's add a note from template. Bam. Our registry is there, right? How cool is that? And then we could put it under, do we keep registry? I maybe removed it, right? Because I don't usually keep it under that category, but it doesn't matter. It can just be into an uncategorized section, just shows up at the top. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. How cool is that? So baby steps here. I just want to kind of remind you, I think the best place to start would honestly be to create these notes templates first. Before you go into the big project one, start with the notes templates, get organized here, create like some things that you tend to repeat a lot or you give advice on a lot. This is where you'd want to go in and kind of create a templated note for it. And then the other thing I would do is go in and do your checklist. So yes, that goes into the project portion. And then once you create a new project, and honestly, you could just call it, full wedding planning, or just wedding planning. And then one could be corporate event planning, right? Because here's your event template and here's your wedding template. And go in and just really customize that checklist. Like really kind of break it down, delete the things you no longer need. And eventually I'm going to do another video for you guys where I'm going to go in and show you how I assign dates, how we use this handy dandy thing called the adventure guide that I showed you earlier, and how we really set this up so that our clients are getting notified when something is due on their end, and how we are getting notified that something is due on our end. And it's really helped us plan things a lot more quickly, efficiently, and with a few months to spare at the end so that we can just kind of tie up loose ends at that point. Okay, we got through that first part. I hope it was helpful. If you want to try out AislePlanner, you can start trying it for free. I believe you do get one free project in it. I'm gonna link my referral link below, but again, the first one is free. If you decided you want to upgrade, I would love for you to support me and use my code below. And I will be back with more tutorials on showing you every little step on how to kind of customize and really make AislePlanner work a little bit better for you. And sometimes It just means cutting out some stuff that you don't need. So that's what we did on our side, but templates is the first place to start. So I hope you enjoyed. I would love to know your feedback down below and any questions that you might have about AislePlanner or future videos that you'd like to know. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you at the next one.